Okay. Yeah, that really does depend, doesn't it? So, what's the most impressive turnaround that I've seen a Scrum adoption achieve? Um, what do we mean by turnaround? Um, is it the ability for a team to deliver? Um, is it the speed with which they start delivery? Is it the quality? I've seen these change drastically in many teams. One where I was a developer, we were using an approach that shall remain nameless, and I'd rather not think about. And bringing Scrum in gave us real focus on the customer. So there was a dramatic turnaround in customer satisfaction. Up until that point, we'd not really talked to the customer. We were introverted developers, the customer was difficult to work with, and we found it easier to ignore them. And we did this mystical stuff on computers, talking nearly 20 years ago, where actually a lot of people in businesses just left us to it. We had a really good development team. We were really strong. We could build what we said we would build nearly every time. High quality, high pace, great fun. We just didn't talk to the customer. So Scrum actually did dramatically turn us around, because introducing that product owner role and having her talk to the customers, work out what was important, and, I'll be honest, teach us and them how to communicate, meant that not only were we a great development team, in technical terms, we became a great development team in product terms. We were able to solve the customer's problems, really quite specific problems that they had in the medical sector. So we could work with them incredibly well. So Scrum helped us. Me as a developer is one of the reasons I became such a fan, because it gave us a way as a highly technical team to bring the customer to the center of our thinking. Something we knew about, we just struggled with. And that product owner role really helped us understand and cross bridges. Okay. I've also seen it accelerate the time it takes to get started. Very often you'll find companies, organizations starting with Scrum, and they will still spend months before they do anything. They will build backlogs, they will refine it, they will analyze it, they'll estimate it, they'll do just about anything to not build code. And one organisation, actually it took them about 9 months from starting to talk about the work to cutting code. And we took that from 9 months to 3 weeks. Simply by focusing on what was important to get started in a sprint. We had developers, great. We had people from the business. We had a product owner who sat between everybody, making sure everybody played nicely. Okay, but their role was not to tell, it was to guide. That's an important difference. But what that meant was that instead of taking 9 months of talking about it and navel gazing and it passing from department to department to department, we got all the people in a room. We actually had about a dozen people in total, customers, product owners, business analysis, developers, testers, everybody involved in the software creation, in a room for a few weeks, understanding the problem and, yes, doing a bit of design of the solution. So we took it from 9 months to 3 weeks, simply by getting everybody together and focusing on what do we need to be able to take the first step. Do we have enough work to fill 3 weeks? And that was the focus, right? We decided, and I don't remember why we decided on 3 weeks, but we decided on a 3-week sprint. My role as the Scrum Master was actually to keep them focused on, is this the most important work? Yes. Do we have 3 weeks worth of work? Not yet. Keep going. Right. We actually got 6 weeks worth of work before we started, but we were ready and able to start as soon as we'd filled a backlog, and the team were comfortable. They were like, okay, we still need to do the refinement, we still need to understand the problem more. There's a lot of creation of stuff around this project that needs to happen, but we have enough work to get started. And that was a radical shift for that organisation. They were so used to spending the best part of a year thinking about doing things that they actually scheduled on that basis. So when we turn up 6 weeks in to their project, okay, quarter of the way through before they even think we start, asking them to review what we've done, actually come in and talk about software that was being built. It wasn't big, it wasn't flash, it wasn't really much of anything, but it was important that it worked and it worked well, and it did. That radically shifted the organisation's thinking, their relationship to product development. They stopped believing you had to follow all of these steps piece by piece before you even got started. And to the very highest levels of that company, they started questioning how they approached work. Were they trying to do too much? Were they, gold plating things before doing stuff? And slowly over the years, the whole organisation has shifted its focus from documentation heavy to documentation light. Sufficient, responsible levels of documentation, absolutely. But their focus is on doing. And that has seen them go from strength to strength in product development, but also in the wider organisation, because they've been infected by it. They understand that there's a time and a place to sit and think, but once you've got enough work to get started, why not get started? Because you will learn more by doing than sitting around and talking about it. So that's two examples of where bringing Scrum in transformed the organisation, radically shifted the team's ability to deliver the right thing, or the right thing quickly enough to be usable and useful to the market. Okay. And I'm fortunate. I've been very, very fortunate over the years to be involved in many, many of these adoptions where you see Scrum coming in and it helping focus people, helping them structure their thinking, structure their delivery so that they're working on the most important thing. And in doing that, it becomes clear where the issues are and where they're not. And that allows the leaders around them to really focus their own energies on improving the work and the environment in which the teams work, so that overall that whole company benefits. And for me, that's one of the things I love about Scrum. It helps people. It helps people do a better job, and it helps organisations fulfil the need that they see better. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.